So we do this thing in like Nigeria and other African countries where we idolize like black, I say black, white people. For instance, now if a white person uses any Nigerian or any African sound to make TikTok or do any African dance, they don't blow. Like everybody will be in their comment section losing their ever living mind. So I don't know, but it's like we are not taught in schools, of course, what these people have done. I met someone recently and we were talking and I was speaking about the Native Americans. Well, I don't like calling them the Native Americans because they never called it America. I don't know what they called it, but the people were the Red Indians. And the person was like, I realized that there are people that don't know that America does not belong to the Americans. They came to the land, they met people there, all of them, and took their land. The place you know as America today. I saw a discourse, they were like, why didn't they enslave the natives, which is the Red Indians, that they met there? So the analysis they gave was they tried to enslave the natives, which is the Red Indians. You know, Pocahontas, yes, her people. They tried to enslave them, but since it was their land, they know their way around, so they kept on running away. So they decided, all of them. There are mass graves still being discovered. In 2021, 2 mass graves were discovered with 300. One had 300, one had 200 children, the youngest being 3 years old. They them just pour them inside ground and cover sand. So that was how they all of them. Have you ever seen? I've seen 1 or 2 of them on TikTok here, but there are very few. Like they are now like 1%. They kill them in millions. They wiped them out. So that's where the Americans are today. The land that the Americans are sitting on does not belong to them. It belongs to the Red Indians. They wiped them out and took their land. Another place is Australia. Australia does not belong to white people. It belonged to some people called the Aboriginal Australians. I don't know their real name, but they're called Aboriginal Australians. They're dark-skinned with like Indian hair, like curly, silky hair. I'll try to insert a picture in the edit. Those were the owners of Australia. They tried like mixing them, like mixed breeding them. I don't know if that didn't work, but at the end of the day, all of them, as they left like less than 1%, they are now very few and they are living in extreme poverty in like inside forests in Australia. I saw some videos on TikTok about them and one white guy was like, get these people out of our country. And somebody commented like, which people out of your country? You people came here, you wiped them out, the people became alcoholics. Now you guys chased them into the bush. The few ones that were remaining, unalived them in millions. The few ones that are remaining, chased them away inside bush. And you're telling them to leave your country. How? So the guy just shut up sharp because he knows the person is not lying. So Australia does not belong to white people. It belongs to the Aboriginal Australians. Then Canada does not belong to white people either. It belonged to people called, is it Inuit or in something like that. I'm going to put a picture of what the people, they look kind of Asian. It belonged to them. They came there and took their land. So these are the things that we weren't taught in school about these people. They did same in South Africa. South Africa's own is not far. You know of Nelson Mandela that was thrown in prison. He didn't do anything. He was just saying, don't kill my people and take their land. That was why Nelson Mandela was put in prison for 25 years. And what a waste, seeing the way the South African people of today behave, what they say. It's such a disgrace. Like I was one of those people that was like, I was rooting for South Africans. I'm like hoping one day they'll get their land back. But this whole Chidinma thing that happened just opened my eyes to the level of self-hatred that South Africans have, how they glorified whiteness. They even say we have the best white people in the world. Like, what does that even mean? We have the best white people in the world. These are the people that came. This is not even ancestors matter. This is your grandfathers. There are people who are still alive today One of the people that took Israel to court, her grandfather's house was confiscated. There are footages online of the soldiers unleashing dogs on black people, like, and laughing, just the way the footages that are coming out of Palestine. That was what they were doing in South Africa. They would just see a group of people that will open fire on them, women, children. So there are footages online of them doing this. But somehow the South African people love white people. So they are even grateful that they came to their land. At what expense? White people in South Africa make up 7% of the South African population, but they own up to 80. I've seen different scores. Some say 93%, some say 80%, some say 70% of the South African land. How can 6% of a population that is not indigenous to that place own, let me use 80% since it's in between the statistics that I've heard. How can they own 80% of the land? Let's not even talk about places that in South Africa, as long as you are black, even if you are the president of South Africa, you cannot step your leg in that place, in those places, as long as you are black. So it's so sad seeing the way the South Africans of this day now behave. I feel like Nelson Mandela just wasted his time for nothing. He would have just carried his wife and children and just left that place. It's quite unfortunate. I think, forgotten another, there's one African country that took Israel to court because it was the same people that did the same thing in South Africa. I don't know if it's Zimbabwe. Same thing. They make up a fraction of the population and there they own, I think they said 60% of the land. So I feel like this our side, Nigeria, Ghana, and the rest, we're just left because like the climate. Cause if you notice the African countries that they tried to take over, you notice that their weather is like really nice. Like the South African weather gets really cold. And so that's why they just left us. But if you know what these people are doing to the economy, I heard something recently. If the Western media is not referring to your leader as a dictator, your leader is not the one leading your country. I would take that again. If the Western media is not referring to the leader of your country as a dictator, he is not the one leading your country. We've been under neo-colonialism. There was never independence. All that shit is a lie. They sent an 18-year-old girl to come and give us independence. The whole country. Princess Alexandra of Kent. They didn't even send any top person. Like, they know that it's not serious because they are still cashing out from here, like steadily, impoverishing the people and stuff. So they just send a kid. Come on, just let them believe they've gotten independence. Let them get off our back. So, equip yourself with this information. As someone that was raised by a curious person that reads a lot, I'm going to drop some of the advice my mom gave me when I was about 7-8 years old. She said, when it comes to history, you can read to pass your exams, but just know that whatever they teach you in history class is either a lie or it has been manipulated heavily. Because of that, there's nothing that you teach me in school about history that I believe. I always try to look for. Yeah, so take that advice very seriously. I think maybe it's because I was told when I was very small. That's why it stuck for me. But it's never too late. Take that advice seriously. Raise your kids that way. Because whether you like it or not, they are raising their kids that way. They notice that Africans are waking up. They're already prepping their kids, trying to tell them that, oh, these people want to attack you. Africa has always been a land of abundance. Black people are the only group of people that have never invaded anybody because we have everything we want. They'll be like, oh, black people don't invent shit. We have everything, the basic necessities. The whole Viking situation, first of all, they didn't call themselves Viking. It was just a name that was given to them to make them look cool. It was a group of people that didn't have anything, no food, nothing. So initially, they started by trying to invent stuff, trying to make tools to go and sell in other places, to get food, to get resources. And when they ran out of materials to make those tools to be selling, they started invading those places, taking their lands, unaliving all the people and taking their lands. I don't really remember the countries that those people invaded and wiped the people out and took their land. That's why I'm not mentioning, but it's not part of America, Canada, and Australia. It's not part of those. It's like another, it's like other side. So this was what they were doing. This is why they came to Africa. They went to India. They were killing people because of spices, curry. Because they didn't have. So Africa has always been the land of abundance. We're the original Nepo babies. That's why we're relaxed. Everything to us is a joke and stuff like that. I don't want this video to be long. Jesus, what a life. So bye.
What a life.